Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We are at the Marika Lounge Bar on Bar Street, the most famous street in the world. I invite you to come and join me as we sit down and have a chat about what it's like to live in downtown Paphos on the island of love, which of course is Cyprus. This is the upstairs VIP area, and of course if you are looking for a special place to have that special event, could be perhaps an after wedding party, it could be a birthday party. If you're coming over at Easter, you never know, you might want to bring a little bunny rabbit with you or a chicken or two. There's the chandelier in all of its glory, painstakingly been blinged up by Miss Ochin Gracile Booth. Of course that's your Marika and my Marika. So we're going to sit here and we'll have a chat about what it's like to actually live in Cyprus. Great views, by the way. That's the view beyond the treetops and the rooftops, of course, of downtown Paphos, and the ascent down to the Paphos promenade and harbour area. Let's set you up on the little table and let's talk about what it's like to actually live in Cyprus. Many people have thought about it, haven't they? It's probably crossed your mind once or twice. Not a bad place at all, by the way. Yes, there are faults in anywhere that you live, but in general, Cyprus, I think, is a very calm and a very relaxed place. Crime, yeah, there is crime like there is everywhere else in the world, but in general in Cyprus it's very cigar, very slow, shall we say. Yes, I was talking to a couple this morning, they often stay out in Paya, and yes, there are the odd break-in or two, as there is anywhere else in the world. But in general, when I say burglars, these are very amateur burglars. Normally you've left a window open or a door open, and they pop in and they steal your mobile phone, perhaps if you've left some cash or some jewellery. And I'm not saying they should come into the property, that's not what I'm saying, but of course, you perhaps shouldn't have left your wallet and your mobile phone and perhaps a gold ring or two on the kitchen table for them to actually see. Anyway, let's not talk about the negatives, let's talk about the positives. And there's many positives to living in Cyprus. Number one, most people will say, is the weather, because in general, the weather is very good. More than 300 days of sunshine every single year. As you noticed, the sun is shining, the sky is blue, the sea is blue. Yeah, if you've not guessed it by now, Mr. Paul is dressed head to toe in blue. So that must mean one thing, all that's missing is you. Get yourself on a big bird, or a canoe, or perhaps a bicycle, and start pedaling like crazy. Because Paphos, Cyprus, the island of love, and of course Marika and me, we are waiting, especially for you. And if you are out and about in downtown Paphos, why not come and see us at the Marika Lounge Bar? And we are truly humbled and shocked to the amount of people that have popped in to say a big hello. You don't have to buy a drink if you want to sit down and have a chat, perhaps get some information on something, perhaps hire cars, perhaps where would be a great place to go for a night out, other than, of course, the Marika and Me Lounge Bar. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Sir Bernie and his girl, his very own blonde beauty, Lady Jan. Thank you for coming to visit us, and hopefully we didn't fill you with too much cake, because, well, we had a bite, didn't we? Or two. They're in downtown Paphos as we speak, wandering around, but they're going to come back and join us at the Marika Lounge Bar very soon indeed. There's another couple downstairs. They've come to see us all the way from Yorkshire. Thank you very much indeed. Lady Ali, Lord of the Neil, they're in town as we speak. They've popped in once or twice, supped on something rather nice, and I got a feeling that Lady Ali is coming back tonight because we've promised her an ouzo special cocktail. Yes, so if you want something special, if you want a great welcome, and I mean a fabulous welcome, come and see us on Bar Street. That's the most famous street in the world, certainly in downtown Paphos, and you're looking for this venue. It's a big bar, you can't miss us. And of course the sun is shining, the tunes will be playing, Marika and myself will be waiting especially for you. Now, back to Cyprus. So, some of the good things. Well, the tax rates are pretty low in Cyprus, by the way, especially if you are retired, and you'll be looking around about 5% in tax on your pension income. So that's quite a good incentive, isn't it? But on top of that, and I know some people will disagree with me on this, but in general, the cost of living in Cyprus is lower in particular than the UK and many other parts of Europe. And there is a couple coming all the way from downtown in Switzerland, Lady Minka and of course Sir of the Anthony. And they made me tickle, shall we say, in a private comment, because they're used to paying somewhere around 7 to 8 euros for a cappuccino or a latte coffee in downtown Geneva, not in downtown Paphos. You're probably going to pay a maximum of maybe 5 euros per cup in the harbour, but in general, in the less touristy areas, you're going to pay somewhere around about 3 euros. If you pop in and see us at the lounge bar, 2 euros 50. That's a bargain, isn't it? It certainly is. So the cost of living is that little bit lower than most of Europe, Italy and France and Spain and those kind of places, and in particular, I think it's quite a bit cheaper than the UK. But of course, it's not just the cost of living for food and drinks, it's things like your utility bills. Now, we all like to complain about electricity bills in Cyprus because compared to what we were used to, those bills have skyrocketed. But when I talk to people who are coming from mainland Europe and of course the UK, they scare the living daylights out of me with their bills. So if you are thinking about relocating to Cyprus, Paphos in particular, that's our favourite place, with no disrespect to the Larnaca district, which of course is where Ayia Napa and Potaras is. And of course their prices will be very similar to our prices. Paphos, we think, is the number one. And a lot of people agree with us, and a lot of people are relocating, and a lot of people are thinking about relocating. Our Sir Bernie and his girl Lady Jan, who only just left, he's pontificating on whether to retire. He's got enough money, but he does like to dibble and dabble in the aeroplane industry because he's a mechanical engineer. So he's thinking about it. Should he stop or should he continue for a bit more? They're very, very busy at the moment due to the situations in the world, obviously. But I got a feeling that very, very soon, perhaps next year or the year after, they'll be looking for that perfect place on the island of love in downtown Paphos. And we'll be waiting for you when you come with another piece of cake. Yes, indeed. I must say that cake was very, very nice indeed. So, positives of Cyprus. Weather, fabulous. Even in the winter. You know, you can get a bit of snow if you're up in the foothills of the mountains, or of course if you're on top of a mountain. But in general, in and around the coastal areas, number one is probably Paya, Tala, Clorica, and of course the Universal area, which is just over there, literally a stone's throw away from the Paphos Promenade and Harbour, and of course Bar Street. The weather's pretty good all year round. Yes, you can get a thunderstorm, but for those of you who've been to Paphos before, you understand that they don't last very long. It would be very, very unusual for us to have rain all day. Maybe an hour here, half an hour there, and very, very quickly the sunshine comes back out. So probably the number one reason for people moving to Cyprus. Second, as I was saying, taxes are pretty low. And if we start talking about the charges on your property, the taxes are low. And your refuse collection, all those kind of things. In general, some villages charge a little bit more, but around about 160 euros per annum. Certainly less than 200 for all of your municipality services. So street lights, rubbish collection, and those kind of things. And like I say, cost of living, in general, if you're eating out, is cheaper than the UK and places like Italy and France, and of course Germany. Quite a few people watch us from Germany, and Poland as well. Lady Anna, my superstar. Cost of living in Poland now is quite expensive, isn't it? Doesn't bother her that much because she's the greatest lawyer in the world. And of course, Dr. Tomas, her partner in her crimes, is probably the greatest doctor in the world as well. And we can't forget to mention their son and our great friend, Sir of the Bart, who is destined to be the greatest lawyer in the world. But for us normal people, cost of living does take its toll. Bills keep coming. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You're always going to get your electric bill, your water bill, your telecommunications bill. They keep on coming. And in general, Cyprus is a little bit cheaper. To give you an idea of a water bill, if you live in a modest 2-bedroom townhouse, let's say on a resort, your water bill is probably going to be around about 60 to 70 euros a month. Your electricity bill will be around, subject to your air conditioning use and your heating use, obviously, but somewhere around 400-ish euros per month. Now, I understand many people are going to drop in the comments that their bills are 1,200, 1,500, and maybe they are, but for most people who live in a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom townhouse, they'll be paying around about 300 to 400 euros on a bad month, and of course an awful lot less on those months when they're out and about gallivanting in and around the promenade and the harbour area. So, very affordable to live in Cyprus, in my opinion and many other people's opinions. So, what other bills have we got? Well, let's talk about cars, because obviously you've got to pay your road tax on your car, your insurance on your car, and of course you've got to maintain that car. And some of the prices that people give me from the UK on just a service on a car can be somewhere around about £300, £400 if you're going to a main dealer. But even if you're going to a non-franchise dealer, but a reputable mechanic shop, they're still going to charge you around about £250. In Cyprus, on average, it'll be about 160 to about 200 euros for a full service on a decent car. And I'm talking about everything, all your fluids being changed, etc., etc. So these are some of the costs that we sort of forget. Road tax, we talked about this in a previous video. Road tax on low CO2 cars in Cyprus, in general, is cheaper than the UK. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think now in the UK, the minimum road tax is around about £180 a year. That's 200 euros. The average newish car in the UK is £200. The average newish car in Cyprus road tax is around about 60 to 70 euros. So that's a cheaper again. Fuel, the benzene, the liquid stuff that you pop in the tank. Again, obviously these prices are fluctuating up and down, but currently in Cyprus, a litre of the liquid stuff is around about €1.45. So that translates to about £1.20-ish. And I think currently it's about £1.30-ish, subject to where you're living in the UK. So, subject to how many miles you do, it could be a little bit cheaper to be driving around a car in Cyprus. Insurance, that's another big expense in the UK because of car theft and all those kind of things. Car theft in Cyprus, to be honest, doesn't really exist. That doesn't mean that your car can't get stolen, but it would be quite a rare occurrence, where of course in certain parts of the UK, it's probably happened to you, it's quite a common occurrence. Hence why insurance premiums have gone through the roof. To give you an idea of how much it will cost you to insure a car in Cyprus, fully comprehensive for a couple of drivers, perhaps yourself and your partner in crime. Let's say you were insuring, let's pick on, say, a Toyota RAV4, one of my favourite cars. So let's say you happen to own a 2 or 3 year old Toyota RAV4, value of around about €30,000. To insure it fully comprehensive would certainly cost you less than €500. And remember, I'm talking in euros, so that's about £450. The gentleman I was talking to only a few days ago told me that he was paying more than £1,200 a year for a similar car of a similar age, and he had a maximum no claims bonus. And there's another one. If you are moving from another country, very simple to get your no claims bonus from your insurance company and then bring it with you. All they ask is a simple little bit of proof, and that's it. You'll be insured like that. at someone like Abigate Insurance or Top Quotes Insurance. These are primarily insurance agents that help out the foreign nationals on the island. And that doesn't mean that you can't go to the likes of Cosmos Insurance. They all speak very, very good English. And you'll find that many speak Russian and one or two other languages as well. So shop around for your insurance. But I personally insure my vehicles with Abigate or Top Quotes. I find them the easiest to deal with. And no, they're not the cheapest. They may be 10 euros or 15 euros more per annum. But I just find them that little bit easier, and so do many of my customers. So remember those names, Top Quotes and Abigate. I'm not in their pay, by the way. They'll probably charge me more next time they see them. So some of the costs about living in Cyprus, and if you check out your facts or talk to people like myself or people who live in Cyprus, perhaps in a restaurant or a bar where you might frequent on your holidays, you can ask them simple questions like, how much does it cost you to insure your car? How much is your water bill? How much is your electricity bill? Very, very easy to gather that information so that you know. Hunting sometimes around on websites, you get government statistics. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but they tend to be over a big stratosphere of different types of properties or different types of cars, isn't it? Talking about earning a living in Cyprus, well, probably if you're coming as a retiree, that doesn't affect you that much. But that is probably one of the negatives of living in Cyprus if you are eligible to work, because the pay, and again, I understand I might get some criticism for this, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, obviously you're going to earn good money. But if you are looking to work in a bar, in a restaurant, those kind of jobs, unfortunately, the rate of pay is not that good. So don't expect to come to Cyprus and work in a bar or a restaurant or a supermarket or a clothes shop and earn a fortune, because unfortunately you will not. But I think the same is to be said if you live in Germany, France, Italy or the UK. You would have to have some kind of expertise if you want to earn a very, very good living, like a lawyer, like a solicitor, a doctor, etc., etc. So hopefully you've enjoyed what I've had to say, and hopefully you'll get involved in the comments and tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But I've lived here for 16 years, so yeah, I've met a lot of people. And of course there are a lot of people who earn a lot of money, and a lot of people who live in Cyprus work offshore. And one or two people watch the channel, they work offshore and they reside in Cyprus. Now that means that their offspring, their daughters and their sons, can't work in Cyprus, and of course their wives can't, but of course they are working offshore and, well, they're earning a couple of bob, so they can support their family and perhaps enable their family to start a business online, those kind of things. So I would say to you, if you're retiring, Cyprus is a fantastic place. If you're thinking about coming to Cyprus to set up a business, as long as you've got enough money, you won't have any problems. But if you are not in those two categories but want to come and live in Cyprus, start to think what you can do on the internet. And there are many, many things to do. You could set up a YouTube channel. You could set up some kind of teaching channel. And you'll be shocked about how many people will tune into your channel. Perhaps if you were teaching people how to speak English, perhaps teaching people how to play the piano, these kind of things. So don't be disheartened by thinking, I can't move to Cyprus, because you can. Just make sure you've got a couple of bob in the bank. I don't mean a small fortune, but a few thousand to tide you over, and make sure that you put in process before you arrive here something that's going to earn you a living. Now again, this doesn't apply to retirees, obviously, but I understand that there are a lot of people who are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, who perhaps have not got a huge pot of cash, but they want to move to Cyprus and start a new life. So put a few thousand aside, stop buying the cars, stop going out and about, save those pennies, and you'll be shocked that over a year or two how much you can save. And while you're at it, start to do something on the internet. Stop going on Amazon and buying things. come onto YouTube and watch Mr. Paul talk a load of mumbo jumbo, but think of something that can earn you a living. And I think one of the biggest things at the moment is certainly selling things online. So perhaps Shopify, Amazon, something like that. Perhaps you can find something unique that you can buy at a fair price that then you can sell on and make a small profit. It will start off as a small little business, but very, very quickly you might find that it grows to something big. And then of course you could live wherever you wish and reap the benefits of your work, shall we say. I'm going to say a massive thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed my company, and hopefully I opened your eyes to the world of Cyprus, because Cyprus is a fabulous, fabulous place. The local population, I promise you, will open their arms to you, and all of the foreign nationals who live here all will do the same. It is a cosmopolitan place where nobody has, in general, a bad word to say about everybody. Everyone gets on, and crime, as I've said, is very, very low. Violence, to be honest, doesn't really exist. Start putting in place your plan of how you can improve your life and come and live on the island of love. Can I ask you a favour? If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the like and please smash that subscribe button. That doesn't cost you a single penny, but it does tell YouTube that you like what you've seen. And then of course they will recommend this little channel known as Marika and me to more like-minded people like yourselves. If you would like to gift us a couple of bob and keep the channel afloat, you can always go and hunt us down on the Buy Me a Coffee platform. If you Google these magic words, Buy Me a Coffee, Marika and me, up will come our landing page. And of course we'll say a massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who gifts us that virtual coffee. Lady Wendy and of course Sir of the Danny, thank you very, very much indeed. And we'll look forward to seeing you when you come to downtown Cape Paphos, and hopefully you'll come and pop in and see us at the Marika and me Lounge Bar. You can also join us as a superstar member on the Buy Me a Coffee platform, like our girl in charge of the show, our Dayman. Thank you very, very much, Dayman, and thank you for those coffees on the Buy Me a Coffee platform. In 6 weeks, you'll be back with us, dancing and prancing at the Marika and me Lounge Bar. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to your company again very, very soon indeed. One last thing to do. I've got one of those and one of those. And there is absolutely no doubt about it. Life is good on the island of love. I'll see you again very, very soon indeed.